All right, in this video, we're going to look at rounding decimals. So we're going to basically do a few questions and I'll show you how to do it. But also you should be looking at the examples in your textbook. So if you're from Mrs. Black's class, I probably forgot to actually add that you should be including your own notes in your notebook, not just doing the questions as well. So I'll explain what I mean by that in class. But in addition to doing these questions, you should also be writing your own notes. Okay, so for question 1, the following decimals have to be rounded, correct to 2 decimal places. Draw a line where the number must be cut, and then circle the critical digit that must be checked as to whether to round up or down. Okay, so what that all means is these are the important things. We need to do correct to 2 decimal places. So we find 2 decimal places after the decimal point. So we've got 1, 2, and we cut it like that. Okay, and that just means, well, these are the important digits. This number here, the number 5, is what we call the critical digit. And the critical digit tells us whether we need to round up or leave it as it is. So this one here, if we have 5 or above, we've got to round up. If it's below 5, we leave it. Sorry about my handwriting. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that just so we can redo the question. But just remember, if it's 5 or above, we leave it. Or effectively, we're 5 or above, we round up. If it's below 5, we leave it, or effectively, we're rounding down. And what I mean by rounding down is just getting rid of this, means we're rounding down. Okay, so let's start again. So let's draw a line. Okay, so we've got 2 decimal places. The 5, you can circle, and we round up. So the 12.6 stays, but it's the 4 that gets rounded up to 5. Okay, I might actually rewrite these numbers so we can see it a bit better. Okay, so for the second one, there's 2 decimal places. There's our cut. This is our critical digit, which decides whether it rounds up. And yes, it does. So it becomes 4.82. And the reason for rounding is because this is closer to 8.2 than what it is to 8.1. So if you were rounding, it's exactly the same with money. Okay, so probably before you were even born, we got rid of 1 and 2 cent pieces, but I remember 1 and 2 cent pieces when I was younger, and I'm not really that old. But basically, when we got rid of 1 and 2 cent pieces, we had to do rounding. Okay, so if something cost, let's say $10.16, it would round down to $10.15. So it was 99 cents, you would end up paying $1. So the same thing happens here, and we need to know what it is rounding to. Okay, so the next one, 157.281. Count 2 decimal places, 1, 2. Do your line. This is our critical digit. Okay, so because it's not 5 or above, we don't have to change the 8. So we are, what we say, rounding down, but you just need to leave the number. Okay, so I'll draw the line for these others. So, whoops, this is quite a thick line, 0, 6. And then here 5, 7, and then your critical digit. Okay, so I want you to decide whether you round up or down, and you can check your answers below. Okay, let's move on to question 2. Okay, so for this one we have to round to 1 decimal place. So we do exactly the same thing, but we only count 1 after the decimal point. And we decide the critical digit decides whether we round up or down. Now, because 2 is less than 5, we just got to leave it as 14.8. The next one, 7.38, there's our cut and our circle. Now 8 is greater than 5, so we're going to do 7.4. do our cut. This one becomes 15.6. There's our cut. So the 7 is larger than 5, so it's going to become 0.89. There's our cut. This is 6.9 because the 5 is included in the rounding up. This one here is 9.94. Sorry, I should have done the cut. And then the cut here. So this one becomes 55.6 because we've got a 5 there. All right, let's move on. I probably had a few, H. H always gets missed out. Okay, so question 3, we have to do it to a specified number of decimal places. So the first one we have 15.9, so, or 13, but we do the cut after the 9. And then the 1 decides us when we're rounding. So this one doesn't get rounded because it's 1, so it's 15.9. I'm going to do the cuts for all of them and circle the critical digit. This one's to 0, so your cut actually happens at the decimal place. Oops, I was in a bit of a zone there. That was 1, wrong spot. 1 and 2. Okay, and what I'd like you to do is actually have a go at doing these. And so you can pause it now and then play it again and have a go. Have a look at how you went. Okay, so this one here is 7.89. This one is 236. This one here is 1. That was quite a tricky one. This one here is 231.9. Then we have 9.4. And then this one's a difficult one because you might think, oh, I have to round that 9 up. But kind of picture it as 39. So 39 will go up then to 40. And there's H, which got left behind. Oh, and there's our answers. So rounding these questions, not that difficult, but just remember to do your cut and circle your critical digit and then decide whether to round up or round down. So when you're rounding down, the number to the left of the cut stays the same. When you're rounding up, it goes up 1. Okay, so remember, if you need more help, you need to come and see me. Thank you.